Today, we're diving straight into something that almost never makes it into the spotlight. We're talking about an experience that doesn't leave bruises you can photograph, and it definitely doesn't happen in screaming matches where the neighbors can hear. It happens in the quiet moments, in the spaces between words. I want to invite you into a very specific, incredibly hidden reality. What we're unpacking in this explainer today is a deeply personal blueprint of a silent epidemic. I'm a man living with covert narcissistic abuse. Just let that sink in for a second. Covert narcissistic abuse. It's a reality that completely dismantles you from the inside out, yet it remains almost entirely invisible to the rest of the world. And look, as a man, the expectation is usually that we should just tough it out, right? Or that this kind of emotional subjugation simply doesn't happen to guys. But it does. It really does.
So let's get into section 1, a man's quiet shadow, the hidden reality.
In this explainer, we're essentially walking through a map drawn by someone who is actively navigating the dark. We're going to explore 5 specific signs laid out in our source material, 5 really subtle markers of a highly toxic environment. The whole goal here is to give some actual vocabulary to the unexplainable, to help you identify if that heavy confusion you wake up with every single day is actually a carefully constructed cage.
All right, sign 1, the perpetual victim.
This is where the disorientation really takes root. They're a victim in every story. In a normal, healthy dynamic, if someone hurts you, they take accountability. But here, the laws of cause and effect are entirely inverted. It's wild. No matter the situation, the narrative just magically flips. If you bring up a grievance, suddenly they're the ones crying, or they're deeply offended that you would even attack them. They twist the timeline until your reaction to their abuse is somehow framed as the abuse itself. The person causing the pain flawlessly centers themselves as the injured party. And here is the exhausting, everyday result. You end up apologizing, even when they hurt you. You swallow your pain, you abandon your totally valid feelings, and you say, "I'm sorry," just to stabilize the room. You apologize for your tone, for bringing it up, for making them feel bad about hurting you. It's this relentless cycle of misplaced guilt that just slowly drains away your sense of self-worth.
Which brings us to sign 2, public charm, private cold.
This is honestly one of the most maddening aspects of covert abuse, the absolute whiplash. To the public, this person is a sunbeam. They are charismatic, helpful, the life of the party, deeply admired by all your friends and family. Everyone tells you how lucky you are to have them. But the literal second you're alone together, the warmth completely vanishes. They turn into an icicle, ice cold, hypercritical of your smallest flaws, withholding affection, basic conversation, even just common warmth. And make no mistake, this contrast isn't an accident. It's a mechanism of control. Which leads directly to this pretty devastating realization. Nobody would believe you, and you know it's true. If you went to your buddies and described the coldness, the cruelty, they'd just look at you blankly. They only know the charming facade. So this creates a deep, suffocating kind of isolation. You're trapped in a reality that literally no one else can see.
Let's look at sign 3, invisible weapons.
So how exactly is that private coldness delivered? Well, covert abuse rarely looks like a shouting match. It relies heavily on non-actions, passive aggression instead of open conflict. We're talking about the silent treatment, just days of freezing you out, pretending you don't even exist in your own house. The heavy, contemptuous sighs when you walk into a room. That incredibly sharp, clipped, "I'm fine" when you ask what's wrong, knowing full well everything is wrong and you are entirely to blame. These aren't just bad moods, guys. These are deliberate tools used to punish and control you, specifically designed to keep you walking on eggshells.
Seriously, how do you point to a sigh? I really want you to think about that. If you actually try to complain to someone about what you're going through, what do you even say? "Oh, she sighed at me. He gave me the silent treatment for a day." Out of context, it sounds petty. It sounds completely trivial. It makes it sound like you're the one making a big deal out of nothing. It's basically impossible to prove. And that is the absolute madness of it all. You are being actively punished. Your nervous system is absolutely on fire. You can physically feel the contempt radiating off them. But there is nothing tangible to point to. There are no bruises, no broken plates, no explicit insults you can quote. Just a heavy, suffocating atmosphere of disapproval that leaves you completely starving for basic human connection.
All right, sign 4, rewriting your reality. This is where things shift from emotional punishment to direct psychological manipulation. That never happened. Delivered totally coldly, with absolute certainty.
You bring up a conversation from yesterday, something they promised to do, or something cruel they said to you, and it is flat out denied. This isn't a simple misunderstanding. It is a highly calculated erasure of your lived experience.
Or it gets dismissed with this absolute classic. You're too sensitive. Suddenly, the issue isn't their bad behavior anymore. The issue is your reaction to it. Your very natural human response to being hurt is suddenly weaponized against you. You get painted as weak, irrational, or overly dramatic, simply for having a normal reaction to their subtle aggression. So, what is the ultimate takeaway from all this? You actually start doubting your own memory. This is textbook gaslighting, and when it happens slowly, drip by drip over years, it causes profound structural damage to your psyche. You literally stop trusting your own eyes. You stop trusting your ears. You start desperately trying to record conversations in your head, trying to figure out if you really are going crazy. You lose your grip on reality because the person you love is actively dismantling it.
Moving to sign 5, the unseen tool.
Look, living in a distorted reality takes a massive physical and spiritual toll on a guy. The source text describes this aftermath absolutely perfectly. You feel drained. And I mean a bone-deep exhaustion that sleep just does not fix. You feel anxious, your nervous system constantly primed for the next invisible threat. And most devastatingly, you feel smaller than you used to be. You physically and emotionally shrunk yourself to fit into this suffocating dynamic. You give up pieces of your personality, your hobbies, your voice, all just to keep a fragile piece.
And you can't explain exactly why. You look at your life on paper and, hey, maybe it looks totally fine. You've got a home, a partner, a life. Yet inside you feel completely destroyed. The confusion is maddening. You're crumbling from the inside out, and because of all the covert tactics we've just been talking about, you can't even articulate why to yourself, let alone to anybody else.
So, I really have to ask you directly, does this sound familiar? If you are a man watching this explainer right now, sitting there recognizing these exact signs, recognizing that shrinking feeling in your chest, I want to speak directly to your experience for a moment. You are not crazy. Your memory isn't failing you. That heavy atmosphere, the sighs, the flipped scripts, they are very real and they are abusive. And most importantly, you are not alone. Men experience this too. We suffer through this exact same psychological warfare, but because of shame, because of what society expects of us, we just don't talk about it. It's well past time we pull this out of the shadows. I'm going to leave you with this final, lingering thought from the author, from someone still in it. This isn't just some abstract theory we're talking about. This is a lived, ongoing reality for countless men waking up today in that quiet shadow. If the information in this explainer resonated with you, acknowledge what you're experiencing. You are not crazy. But ask yourself, if you recognize the shadow, how much longer are you willing to wait before you finally step toward the light?